So this is Jeff Corrigan, oral historian for the State Historical Society of Missouri. I'm here today, March 22nd, 2012, in Springfield, Missouri, at the Greene County Extension Center at the Springfield Botanical Gardens. I'm here to interview Bonita Pipkin about her experience attending a one-room schoolhouse. Bonita, could you start by telling me when and where you were born?
I was born in Springfield, Missouri, but my family lived 2.5 miles west of Republic, and on my grandfather's place were the first in Pond Creek. They established the Blade School was a part of our ancestry, and they donated land. And I was born in 1932, February the 18th.
So you're born in Springfield and you lived in Republic.
In the country, yes.
Okay. Now, could you tell me a little bit about your family?
I was an only child.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what did your parents do?
They were farmers.
And what kind of farm was it?
Well, it was a livestock barn.
And what kind of livestock?
They had beef, and then they also had registered Guernseys.
Oh.
And then they had sheep, they had hogs. That was diversified. And those times, you had all kinds of animals. We had turkeys, chickens, a variety.
So it was besides a beef farm, it was also a dairy farm.
Oh, sure.
Too. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and Guernseys. Okay.
Yes. I've sat many a time on a 3-legged stool milking cows.
Okay. And I would assume if you were an only child, you definitely did work on the farm.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I
Okay.
mean, I know what work is. That's exactly. I learned that early.
Okay, so I didn't have to ask you if you were the oldest or youngest or
No,
anything.
I'm the only one.
What were your parents' names?
Otto and Adeline Blades.
Adeline, Adeline.
Mhm.
Okay.
Blades.
Adeline Blades and Otto Pipkin.
No,
Oh,
Blades.
Blades, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm, that's fine.
Otto and Adeline Blades.
That's right.
Okay. Now, when and where did you start school?
My dad and mother, they really started me. I started school when I was 5, and I went to Blades School.
And it was called Blades School.
It was Blades School.
After the family.
After the family. It was donated by my grandfather, the land. Mm-hmm. So basically, I went 7 years to grade school. They put me up in another class first year.
Okay.
See, I was 5 when I started, and they promoted me I skipped one class. So.
Okay. So you went there 7 years.
Yes.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm. That's the entire time. Then I started high school when I was 12.
Okay. Okay. Now, could you describe the school for me? The inside, the outside?
Oh, yes. It was in the back of the school. It was where we would hang our jackets, where we would take our lunch buckets or our cigar boxes or a paper sack or whatever that we would put in the back. And the teacher would bring everything, like she would bring her excess stuff from her own home if she lived at home. However, sometimes they would be so far away, like even Billings or Aurora they came from, they would come and stay with people in the neighborhood. So they would come, we had all kinds of, our equipment was usually a round ball, some tin cans for games, and of course our winter coats, straw hats and all of that kind of in the spring and fall.
Okay. Was the school white or red?
It was white, and it faced the south. It was all one rectangular shape, and it had, in the back was the place where I call it the closet, or the clothing area, and the lunch area was divided, just a small area, but the other direction was an extension where the pot-bellied stove was, where the chalkboard was, where all of the benches were, and the teacher's desk.
Now, did you have one big chalkboard in the back behind
Yes,
the teacher?
on the side.
On the side, okay.
On the side. Mm-hmm.
Where were the windows in the
Oh,
building?
they were on the west.
The west,
And
okay.
it was a complete section of windows, so there was a lot of light coming in from the west.
Okay, was there electricity or
No.
Okay.
No.
How big do you think the school was?
Probably 30 feet long and say 20 wide.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did you have the individual desks or the shared desks where you had like two kids next to each other?
We had shared desks.
Okay. And were the little kids up front
Yes.
and the larger kids in the
Yes,
back?
yes.
Okay. Did the teacher sit in front then?
In front.
So when you came into the school, on the far end would have been where the teacher was in the blackboard?
That's right. As you came in, the double doors and the steps into the school on the south side, you'd walk straight to the front, which you would call the front to the teacher's desk. And I remember being on the very front, and I was the only one at that time. I was the only first grader. So anyway, I had the whole thing to myself. That was a good thing.
Do you remember anything in the classroom about, was there any pictures of
Oh,
any?
yes. George Washington, Abe Lincoln, the flag, and all of these, like for instance, the superintendent of schools, his picture was there. He would come out once every year to the school, the Greene County Superintendent of Schools, and visit with us. And he was the one that came, and basically he would rate us as far as the school system, whether you're completing your subjects, what subjects you're taking. But the wonderful thing I remember most about it is being 5 years old and being in a group of people, young people older than I, in the sections older up to the 8th grade, but they always respected me. We were a community. They always watched after me at recess. And then I returned that same favor when I grew out of it after the 7 years.
Okay. Did you have, so you said a potbelly stove?
Oh, yes.
So coal
Coal.
or coal? Okay.
Oh,
And did you have, was there a water pump outside?
it was a water pump, it was a flagpole, and that was our first thing every morning. That each one, they turned around, we'd have, this person would go this time, and then tomorrow would be your time to raise the flag. And we'd say our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. That was in warm weather. However, in the winter, we'd have it inside.
Okay.
But we also, we had the pump, and I know my husband, he said he had a little tin can that they all drank out of. We just had a big water bucket, and we all drank out of the same dipper.
Okay. That was my other question.
Oh.
If you had individual dippers
And
or...
no, we had one big dipper. Germs. Oh my.
Did the school have like a library area at all?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Okay, so you didn't have any books to
No.
check out or anything?
No,
or-
no.
Okay.
That was way before that part of the library.
Okay. Was there outhouses then?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. One for the boys, one for the girls. Yes.
And were they on opposite?
Oh, yes. Opposite ends of the playground on the field. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Was there any place, was there like a coal shed or?
Oh, yes. Yes, there was. Next to the boys, there was a small shed where they stored coal there next, but it was on the side of the boys' restrooms.
Was there a place for like, did anybody have to ride a horse to school?
Oh,
Was there
sure.
hitching posts?
Oh, sure. There were 2 hitching posts. In
Okay.
fact, I didn't ever have that opportunity because I just lived probably in city, probably 3 blocks away, because my home where my grandfather lived and we had bought was just just across the field
Okay.
from the schoolhouse.
So you didn't have very far to walk
No.
each day. So you said
No.
roughly about 3 city blocks.
Yes.
Okay. And because it was on your grandparents'
Sure,
property, so it wasn't, you were pretty close, and so you didn't have a long walk.
No.
Like a lot of people
No,
had to
I
walk
know,
miles.
a mile and a half, and
Yeah.
then a mile and a half the other direction. That's right.
Okay, so you didn't have to walk far. That's good. Was there any type outside? Was there any type of playground equipment?
Just the tin can, and that was the whole game that we played was kick the tin can. It was a game we played. We'd make a large circle. You put a tin can on the inside, and one person stood. Everyone else went away and hid. And he was supposed to find us, and if anyone he caught, if he found you, you would have to go back and then get in the circle. But if there was one major person that could, he'd be the last one and kick the can out of there, everyone was free. We just played that over and over and over. And then we played Annie over. We played Red Rover, Red Rover. And I had one teacher that loved to play Fox and Geese. That was in the dead of winter. And she would get out with her shovel and make the trail, and we couldn't get out in the snow. We had to stay within the trail, and she was always the wolf. The kids were excited, no less.
Okay. We'll go on with the recess thing. Did you have recess in the morning and afternoon?
No, just in the afternoon, right after dinner.
So just in the afternoon?
Yes, right
Okay.
after dinner. 30 minutes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did you have it at lunch too, or no?
No.
So
Well,
just-
we just had that, all was a combination of eating your lunch and the recess.
Okay, so no other recess
No,
during the day.
no.
Okay. So it's about 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay. So you said you played so Annie Over, Red Rover, Fox and
yes.
Geese, Kick the Tin
Oh,
Can.
yes. Yes.
Were there any like group games like baseball or anything, or no?
No.
Okay.
We didn't have that. We ring around the rosy, you know,
Okay.
for the girls. And the boys, I guess they just stood around whatever they did. I don't remember what they did. But anyway.
What did you do when there was bad weather?
We had to stay within in the schoolhouse, and we would go to the blackboard. We'd draw pictures. We'd play tic-tac-toe. We would try to improve our ciphering because we're in competition. And I have information here, even from my uncle. I just had all of this historical. This is the kind of brochure that he had in 1916.
1914 it says
14,
here.
whatever, but that is his literature. Mhm.
Okay, so this was his instruction
Yes,
on
that's how to write. Mhm.
how to write lessons.
That's
Okay,
exactly
writing
right.
lessons.
That's
Okay,
right.
so each one
And
was.
you can have that if you like.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'll give that to you.
Okay, I'll put it in your folder then.
Yes.
No, that'd be great. No, that's interesting. I've never seen one actually.
Mhm, mhm.
I'll keep it with your stuff, and
Very
we'll.
fine.
So then, okay, so that's interesting because some competitions then
Yes,
during
we had
during the
competition.
during if you had to stay inside, you would definitely keep him busy.
Oh, yes, we
Okay.
didn't, yes, we did.
Okay. So let me go back a little bit now.
Okay.
Where specifically? You said it was on your grandparents' farm. Where is that specifically located?
Okay, it's 2.5 miles west of Republic on 174, and it was half a mile south.
Half a mile south.
Mhm.
Okay. Does this school building still exist
No.
today? Did it burn down? Or?
No, it was sold, which was a tragedy. And the gentleman who bought it was going to keep it, and he let it just fall. He was a doctor. He was going to reconstruct and keep it, and you couldn't find a piece of it now, I'd imagine.
It fell in disarray.
Oh my, yes.
About what year was that you? Do you know what year the school closed?
Let me see. Probably in 1944.
Okay. Now, how many? You said there was one in your class.
Mhm.
How many kids were in the whole school, though, roughly?
16.
Oh, okay. Did you have a lot of different teachers, or just one? Okay. What was their name?
Oh, well, the first one was Mrs. Massey. She was from Billings. Lottie French, and she was from Billings. Miss Sharp was from Monette. And June Wampler was from Billings.
June Wampler.
Wampler, W-A-M-P-L-E-R.
And she was from where?
Billings.
Okay,
Mhm.
Billings. So you had 4 over your
That's
time
right.
there.
Mhm.
Was any of them your favorite?
June.
June.
I think it was because I was older. You know,
Okay.
she was a very, very good teacher. I liked Miss Sharp really well because she liked to play, these games, as I said prior to this, She was the fox, and the geese and all of that. The first two were very older women, and very motherly and matronly, and they started me out in the right way. I mean, they taught me, my dad had already taught me how to write and how to do my ABCs and how all of that particular before. That's the reason they moved me up a class.
Okay.
So.
Did you learn a lot from listening to the older kids?
Oh yes, that was the connection. They were always available. I mean, I remember they were always wanting to help me, They would, well, a lot of them came by down the road past our house. I was always welcome to walk with them. I felt comforted. I felt like someone was watching after me. But we all knew each other. A lot in our area were kin. See, Republic basically, when it was first established, there was the Mooneyhams, the Garoots, the Bladeses, and those, and then they remarried, and my goodness, but we all felt really, really close.
So you knew what was coming in the other grades, but you also were
had an attachment. Oh yes, I knew what was coming, and I could listen whenever she was doing her lessons. The teacher was had all of these different sections. I could always listen to what they were doing, of how to read, and whenever they got in front of the class, I could always listen, and whenever they gave a presentation, or when they had to read, or whenever over on the chalkboard, you could always see how to add, it was a connection. That was the great thing. You weren't separated.
Because, was it difficult being the only kid in your class, though?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because you had all
It
those...
has a personality. You have to have the personality of, if you're an only child, someone will say, you're spoiled rotten. No, I always had to, I didn't have anything to be spoiled rotten with. I had a dog and a radio flyer wagon. That was my toys. So we lived in a 2-room shanty with a lean-to.
Okay.
So that was the way it was. It was hard times.
And how big was the farm?
The farm, 160 acres.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember, was the school, I'd like to talk about some of the activities
Sure.
that happened in the school, but also I'm curious about two things. Activities both that you as students did, maybe Christmas programs, pie suppers,
yes.
and things, but I'm also curious to know if it was the school, was it ever used as almost like a community center?
It was a community center.
Okay, so can you talk about the programs or the
Sure,
activities first?
Sure.
Okay.
On the community, is that what you want to
No,
talk
no,
about?
talk about the school programs
Okay.
first.
Oh, yes.
Christmas program.
Oh, yes,
or-
we had Christmas programs, and we also we would celebrate Easter with the maypole. We would have, like Halloween, we'd all have that little activity. All of the holidays, we would make special decorations and special games, and then we'd have poetry and recitals, and the teacher always would ask. First of all, she would ask if anyone would like to. She never designated you're going to do this, which was always the good thing, and there were always people wanting to participate.
Now, was the Christmas program, is that something that she would write, or was it something you guys worked on? Or?
We worked on it, and not only that, all of the parents helped. They would sew costumes. They would bring, in fact, one of them brought a lamb, for Christmas, and then the men would have made the little Jesus little cradle.
So you did like the
Yes.
nativity story?
Yes,
okay.
nativity story.
Okay. And that would be held in the evening?
In the evening, and the community would come.
So the whole community would come?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so it wasn't just the parents and students?
No,
okay.
Everyone did.
So was that the only? So you celebrated the other holidays, Easter,
Right.
Halloween. Did you?
We decorated.
Did you
yes.
dress up for Halloween?
Oh yes. We not only the youngsters, but then the parents did. And so, as I was telling you, the parents would try to come and see if they could guess one another. And at the time, sometimes we would have, like, they would bring a a dinner, and everyone would share, in that. They'd have a boxed dinner, and but they all had so much fun with all of the funny garbs that they wore.
So the Halloween was not just during school;
no.
it was at night.
It was night. It was night. It was a
family
community.
affair.
The family, everyone.
And everybody
came.
made their costumes.
And everyone came. Yes.
And you said people would try to figure out who.
Yes. No one. Everyone had to guess.
Who was who?
Who was who? And someone basically got a sucker if they were one. I don't know. My dad got a sucker for being the wolf, and no one ever knew who he was.
Okay. So if you could stay hidden,
sure.
you got a
sucker. That's
okay.
right.
Okay. So you mentioned pie suppers.
Oh yes.
Now, can you describe to me how the pie suppers were run and
Okay.
what you guys did?
Okay. Well, first of all, you could take a pie or a cake, but all of the farm ladies would bring pie, and they would have it in a decorative box or a container, and of course would take their best. And then you'd have the gentleman or anyone else in the crowd. It was the neighborhood thing, and they would bid on them, 50 cents, $1.50, and whoever got the highest bid. Whoever got the highest bid got to eat with the person who brought the pie.
And nobody knew who brought what?
No.
It was all a surprise.
It was a surprise.
Okay.
So they would hold up the box and they would say, now this box, and the auctioneer, which is someone in the audience, and they would say, oh, give me a quarter, give me 50 cents. At that time you didn't have much money to give anything. So, but anyway, whoever got $1.50 was really a pie. And so then they would say, well, this is the pie number so-and-so. No one knew who number so-and-so was. Well, anyway, then they would get the connection, and that was number 15. And then the lady would say, well, it's my pie, and then they'd all sit around and devour it.
Now, would the men and boys try to figure out whose pie was who?
Oh, sure, especially the older boys. The older boys wanted to make sure what girl brought it from what family. Yes, most definitely.
Okay. But primarily pies, but occasionally cakes.
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was there any other activities at the school? Did you have an end of the year party or picnic?
We had a picnic.
Okay.
Yes, and something else. It was also at that time, which it was where they came to vote. It was also a voting community.
So the other side, it was a community
That's
center.
right.
So you said voting, and
yes.
Was that where
right.
town meeting would
that
be?
That was right. The town meeting. It was just a center. It was the center of our community.
Okay.
See, it's just like now a community building in a larger city, but that was ours at that time.
So people would use it for voting?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have chores to perform at the school? And what I mean by that is, did kids have to carry in wood, water, clean erasers, heating?
Yes. Yes.
Did you have to?
Yes, clean erasers. Boys would bring in the coal. They would. They had to sweep. They would. She would designate, or whoever offered to do it, if they had to go early, because a lot of these young people had to be at home early because they had chores to do. But I remember Miss Wampler always saying, anyone who cares to, would you please stay and we'll clean the blackboard and so we'll get the erasers cleaned and get the water bucket clean and the dipper and make sure that all of the lunch buckets are gone, that you've got designated, and make sure that no one has left their coats. There was one designated to make sure that everyone had taken their boots especially for the little kids.
Was this daily or weekly?
Daily.
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 Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay. Did you take your lunch every day?
Yes. Oh yes.
Could you tell me what a typical lunch was for you? Did your mother prepare it?
Oh, yes.
And what what other kids brought her?
Okay. Very sad, basically, but it was very meager. Like bacon, biscuits. Very rarely we'd have cheese. You would have it maybe if you were on a dairy farm, you'd have milk. If your mother would make like cookies, you'd have a cookie, but you didn't have a variety of anything. It was just, bacon sandwiches.
So basically bacon that you would have from the
Yes,
farm,
oh,
and then
yes.
biscuits your mom would
Yes, everything was home. It was
Mm-hmm.
not bought. There was nothing bought. We didn't even have ice. We didn't have anything like that. Of course, no refrigeration, no way to cool anything. So you see, that was that time.
So you didn't have an ice box yet,
No,
even at your
no,
house.
no.
Okay. Did you? Was this all like salted pork?
Oh
Like,
yes, yes, salted pork. Oh yes.
Did
And
you
I
have
felt
like
butcher.
Did you have like a smokehouse, or did
Yes,
you?
we had a smokehouse.
Okay.
Yes, and we hung the hams and all of the salted pork, and then we always, as I said, we had turkeys. And we had chicken. When Mom would fix fried chicken, she'd have a piece or two. I might have fried chicken. That was a specialty, you know.
Did you have a lot of eggs then? And
Yes, eggs. All of the basics.
Did you have egg sandwiches
Egg
too?
sandwiches, scrambled egg sandwiches. Everything came off of the farm.
Hmm.
It wasn't, you didn't purchase anything. Sugar, flour, coffee, that was your limit.
Okay. Okay. And you said you brought it in. Would you bring it into
Well,
school
okay,
with?
some people, some of the kids would bring them in cigar boxes. But my grandmother Blades bought me a dinner bucket when I was 5, and I still have it. And it's just a tin container, approximately 8 inches long and 4 inches wide, and it's a aqua blue color, and it's tin. And that's what I took that in my every year in school. That was my dinner
That was
bucket.
your lunch, okay.
Mhm.
So you had milk, where a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
kids didn't, but
Oh,
you had
yes.
milk.
Really, because I had dairy.
Was it in a thermos you put it in, or?
I was in a jar.
Oh, okay.
Little pint jar.
Okay. Okay. And this was, so you would eat your lunch, then you would get your 30
That's right.
minutes of play.
That's right.
Okay.
And most of the time, it didn't take long.
No, I can imagine. If you only had one
Like,
recess,
you don't know.
you didn't
We
dilly-dally.
didn't tarry.
Yeah. Did you guys ever have did you have orchards or anything, or apple trees? Did you?
Apple trees. My grandfather had apple trees. They were old at that time, and it wasn't an orchard. There was 2 or 3 trees out in the pasture.
So would you occasionally bring?
Occasionally, occasionally.
Okay.
And tomatoes. See, like tomatoes, I could get those in the fall. You know, when we first started school, there would be tomatoes on the garden. We always had a big garden. See, we had planted 100-pound of potatoes. I mean, we got out and tilled, and green beans and all of the vegetables, like everyone's coming back to now.
Mm-hmm. Would your mom put them up in
Oh,
preserves?
sure. Oh, my goodness. She canned. I mean, I've helped can 44 pints of corn out of the cornfield many a time. So you see, we had it and we preserved it. We never threw anything away. We took care of what we had.
So you're self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient from
Yes.
one end to the other. That's exactly right. As my dad called the car the jitney.
Okay.
Okay?
Now so you attended the same school all the way till you graduated?
That's right.
Okay. And what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1944.
Okay. And that was from 8th grade.
Yes. Well, it was really, yeah.
Seventh.
It was 8th grade. Yeah, it was 8th grade.
Yeah. Without the skipping part, yeah. And then did you go on to high school?
Oh, yes.
And where was that?
At Republic.
Oh, Republic High School. Okay.
From 1944 to 1948. Graduated when I was 16.
1948, you graduated at 16.
And so did my husband. He graduated in 1947.
Okay. And what's your husband's name?
William D.
William
D.
And was he from the same area?
He was from where we live now, 7 miles north of Republic.
Okay. So in today, not a very far area. Back then, he was on the other side.
Oh, that was a long way.
That was a long way. Okay.
And we only had 4 school buses.
So, but you didn't get bused to school because you lived so
No.
close. But did
Oh,
that?
I got bused. Oh yeah, to Republic, yes.
Oh, to the Republic High School.
Yes,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Republic High School.
Okay, you were bused then. Okay.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask you if you kept in contact with anybody from your class, but I don't have to ask you that because you were the only one. So I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Did a lot of people that you went to school with, though, did they end up staying in the area, in the Republic area? Do you still see a lot of those people today?
Oh yes, yes. But Republic has, it's the population of Republic has just sprung forth. There's over 15,000 now. When I was going there were probably around Republic there was 800 to 900. So you see it's really expanded with a lot of people moving in as a bedroom town for Springfield. See,
Okay.
that's what it is. But I do see, yes. And the other day I got a picture that was the Republic basketball boys at this special time, and they were the champions in their class conference and in the state. And out of the 12 boys, there are only 2 left, and I know them well.
Okay. Do you feel you got a quality education there?
Yes. One-on-one.
Okay. I was going to ask why, and you partly because a lot of one-on-one.
That's right. They made you feel like you were important, not in a haughty way or an egotistical way, but you were well worth their time. And they were not paid, just pittance. The teachers didn't receive a very large sum.
Did you think that people in your community, did they really value education?
Oh, yes.
Did your parents value education?
Yes. Even though my father, he had to quit and never went beyond the 6th grade. But because he had to take field work, he had to work. See, that's it. But my mother, I have a certificate of her award here, and graduate, she received, and this is in the St. Joe School in Greene County, but down on the bottom it tells the year that she had perfect attendance.
So Miss Ada?
Addie, that was her nickname, Addie. Hendricks, Addie Hendricks.
Is it A-D-D-A?
A-D-D-I-E.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure it's A-D-D.
That was her nickname.
Addie, A-D-D-I-E is the nickname, okay.
And her name was Hendricks. Graduate, and that she went through the 8th grade.
Hendricks was her maiden name, okay. So Greene County School, Missouri, having been for 5 months, neither absent nor tardy. That's good. January 29th, 1916. So neither absent nor tardy is
That's a very, that's what I mean. That's
very bold on
very
there.
bold, and you got a diploma or a certificate of award for that purpose.
So your parents' education was important, and so you graduated. So you went on to Republic High School and graduated from there.
As valedictorian.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I went on to SMS for the scholarship. Graduated with summa cum laude from MSU. It's now MSU. And taught school there.
So then it was Southwest Missouri State.
Teachers.
Okay. So Southwest Missouri
Teachers.
Teachers College. So it is what is today
MSU.
Southwest,
No.
Missouri State University. All the universities, change their name around here.
Listen, they've changed them several times recently.
And I'm not a Missourian. I'm not from
They do.
Missouri, but I've
do.
learned the names are changed a lot.
Sure, they
So
are.
what is so you graduated from SMS in what year?
Oh, let me see, 52.
52. And what was your
Health and physical education and counseling.
so health and physical education
With
and
a minor
counseling.
in biology and art. Don't get me started where they all went to, but anyway.
So health and physical education, art and biology.
Right, and then I taught school.
Okay, that was my next question. So you became a teacher yourself.
Yes.
Now, where did you teach at?
I taught at Nevada, Missouri, junior college in Independence, Kansas.
So Nevada, Missouri was
Was
which
high
one?
school.
Was high school, okay. And what subject?
Health and physical education.
Okay. And then you said, what was the other one?
Okay, Independence, Kansas Junior College.
Independence, Kansas Junior College. And what did you teach there?
Counseling and health and physical education. And then I taught it at Southwest Teachers College after that for 2 years.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
That's okay.
I want to get them all. And then it was Southwest Teachers College. And what did you teach there?
Same thing, health and physical education. Then my husband decided that maybe we would just stay home and raise our family. So that's what I did.
So you did those right after
Sure.
college, and
Right.
you went to you
That's
taught at
right.
high school, Independent, Kansas,
That's right.
and Southwest Teachers
That's
College.
right.
So when did you end that? When did you stop working?
I say 56.
So you stopped in 1956. And you said, so your husband's name was William.
Yeah,
What
that's
were your
right.
children's name?
Nancy,
Okay.
Mary Ann, A-N-N-E, 2 names.
Okay.
And Jim.
Jim. So 3 children.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, so the question I have for you is, so what influence do you think attending that one-room school had on your life? Now, obviously you became a teacher, so it had some, but what kind of things do you think really influenced you?
What influenced me was the perception of understanding other people, to accept them for who they are. Also, having a close feeling to wanting to help or assist other people, like young people especially, because I served 12 years as community leader of the 4-H. I've helped in every PTA. I've been an extension council vice president when we had women's extension. All of those activities that I would have never thought about had I not had some basics. Someone teaching me that you're here for a purpose and to share what you know. At one time I was Greene County PTA president, extension president, really too much. So I decided I'd just come home and take care of my children. Now they were teenagers at the time, but you know, they need an older child, an older person at that age needs you more than a young child does. You think that a young child needs you desperately, but others can fulfill those obligations. But when you get a 14, 17 age child, they need that connection. You need that connection. You need to sit at a dinner table every night and eat a lunch and a meal together and find out what's going on.
Now, we covered a lot, but I'm curious to know, is there anything that we didn't cover, or any funny story you have from the school that you'd like to share, or if there's any other topic we didn't cover about the school that you attended? I mean, let me know, yeah.
Okay. Well, as far as I know, nothing. Well, yes, there was one time Sonny Blades, and he was so sorry. We were playing Annie Over, first black eye I ever had in my life. And we'd throw the ball over the schoolhouse. Well, he came around the corner and he'd thrown it, and then I threw it back. And the next time he came around the outside and threw it right directly and hit me in the eye. I was about 8 at that time, went home with a black eye. Mom said, "What have you done?" I said, "Oh, well, just this Sonny's problem." I have the black eye. He was so sad. He was just really, it was a terrible thing to hit me.
So it just came over the roof?
Oh, sure. Hit me in the eye. And it really puffed up. I couldn't see anything. But anyway, went home with it. Here I was with a black eye. I don't think Mom expected that.
No. She probably wanted to make
she
sure
thought maybe I was out roughing it or something.
Yeah. That's probably what she was more worried about, that you were fighting.
That's right. Oh.
No, that is. Did you, I forgot to ask this a little bit ago. Did you have was there a piano in the building?
No.
No piano.
No,
Did you sing?
Yes, we did. We had music. Yes, I enjoyed that.
Okay, I wondered that. And did you have art projects at all?
Yes,
or?
oh yes. I love that.
So art and music were incorporated?
Yes, they were incorporated, but we didn't have a piano. We would have money enough for a piano.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I asked that. I kind of forgot about
Right.
some of the other extra things besides like math and reading and
Sure.
Because I knew you said you decorated for things.
Sure, but we would have people like would come in that could play the fiddle or entertain, and those usually came along with the box supper. We'd usually have an entertainer, like maybe Grandpa Hendricks or someone loves to play the fiddle, bluegrass, that kind of stuff. It was, as I say, a community thing.
Okay, good. Did your husband attend a one-room schoolhouse too?
Yes, he did.
Just on a different side of town?
North side, Bennett.
Bennett.
Okay. I have his information here.
Okay, so does he have a similar story like you do?
Oh, he does, and there's all of his work. I just wanted to show you some of the things.
So you have his, so you've kept a lot of this stuff.
Yes, and you can.
So you have an arithmetic workbook.
But you all can have this.
And
I brought it so you can keep it.
Practice activities in English and individual corrective exercises for elementary school English. So,
That's right.
So these were his books.
That's right,
From
and
the
you
school.
may have them. I'm giving those to you.
Well, thank you. We can add them to the collection for
Okay.
sure. And while we're on tape still, what are some of the other examples of stuff you've brought?
Well, this is my father-in-law's automatic speller, and it also was from the Bennett School, and this is in 1918.
So this was
This was his father, my husband's father.
okay, and so this was
At
his
Bennett School.
Bennett School here in 1918.
Mhm. Here's
This-
another one in 1912.
Morris Stanley Pipkin.
Mhm.
So okay,
Staley.
Okay, Staley.
Mhm.
So now let me ask you, why did you keep all these years?
The family before me did.
Okay.
These were precious because my father-in-law went to Normal, which was MSU, the beginning of MSU, and he went to MU for 2 years, and he was 18 years old when he was sent to MU, and he was always, well, the education of this family that I married into has always through the years. My father-in-law's dad was in extension, the ASCS gentleman that was in charge. It's always just been a connection. My mother-in-law was a teacher. My father-in-law's mother was a teacher. And I'm a teacher. My husband was a single, only child. My father-in-law was an only child. Goes back, but it's just been all through the years that this has just been something that is very important.
Now, did any of your children become teachers or no?
I had 3 children, all graduated with honors. I have a son that's in partnership with Clearwater Angus Farms that we own, has been in the family since 1867. Then I have a middle daughter who is a partner at Bear Kurtz and Dobson's, the accounting firm. And I have Nancy, the oldest, and she's at Mountain Grove, and she is in the cattle business.
Okay, so you have 2 in the cattle business, and
Yeah.
and what was the say that again? What was the name of the farm you said?
Clearwater Angus Farm.
Clearwater Angus Farm, and it's been in the family how long?
Well, the land has been there 1867, but we have sales, and in 1933 they bought their first registered Angus in Kansas. So we have had Angus, and we still have Angus. Every one of the children have shown cattle at the state fair since 1947. I mean, WD was shown in 1947 at the state fair.
So you're still raising Angus cattle?
Oh, mercy, yes. 500 head.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So between you and your husband and then your son?
Yes, and his wife.
Okay.
And they have 2 children.
Now, is that all in, are we still
900
talking
acres.
in the Republic area or no?
Yes.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
okay.
We're all in the Republic District.
Okay, and are you, do you still live on this farm where?
Sure.
Okay,
Lived there for, well, we built our home in 62. We lived in an older home prior to that. We've been married 57 years.
okay, so you're still on the cattle farm
Oh,
then?
sure. I
Okay.
work every day. And so does he.
Am I keeping you from your
No,
chores right now?
No, I'm enjoying the relaxation. Well, here's one of these books. This is my mine, and it says Blade School.
So District 111.
Sure, and you may have that book. That was our book, and here's another one of Morris's that you can have. It's a Grand School Reader. These are books that I don't think you all are probably familiar with.
Well, no, we have a large book collection of about 200,000 books, I think, but they're either about Missouri, from Missouri authors, or they're from Missourians.
Right.
I don't know that we have too many from
The schools.
a specific one-room schoolhouse. No.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what was the name of your husband's school?
Bennett.
Oh, but that's right,
Bennett,
Bennett. And
yes. Mhm.
so these are a mixture of Bennett
Bennett.
School, and then the other one was the Blade School.
And this is St. Joe, and
Yeah.
you may have this.
Your
My mother.
Your mother's, yeah, the St. Joe.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's a mix of 3 schools. So we
Yes,
got
and my mother-in-law went to Salem.
Okay.
Which is another one. That's
Okay.
my mother-in-law.
So 3 one-room schoolhouses in this area.
Oh, yeah, and
Okay.
4 really, Salem, is it?
Salem.
Yeah, 2, but see, here's another one. Anyway, you can just take the ones you want and then ask.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we
You
can.
just take the ones that you want.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap up here a little bit, I do appreciate you coming in and sharing your story today.
Thank you.
I think this is great. A lot of information and a lot of extra stuff too that
That's good.
we can learn a lot about Windham Schools here. So if you don't have anything else to share, I'll go ahead and shut off the recorder. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and you'll hear back from me after this in a little bit. Hold
Thank
on
you
one
so
second.
much. Thank you.